Hello, I'm Sean Kent Hayashi, and this little girl right here is Honeybee. This is her daughter, Honey Bear. This is a photograph of Honeybee in a traditional Schnauzer haircut, and this is a photograph of her in a Teddybear haircut. What I'm wanting you to see is that miniature Schnauzers have the option of being in Teddybear haircuts or in traditional Schnauzer haircuts. This little miniature Schnauzer right here is groomed like a teddy bear, as you can see. I've done Embark tests, the DNA tests on all of my breeding dogs. So I know that Honeybee is a 100% miniature Schnauzer. I've also done Embark testing on Honey Bear. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what we now know about Honey Bear from the Embark DNA reports. Let's dive in. Given that Honey Bear's parents both show up in Embark as 100% miniature Schnauzer, it did not come as a surprise to me that Honey Bear is also 100% miniature Schnauzer. This is what Embark says about miniature Schnauzers. In Embark reports, they give you an overview of whatever breed your dog is, and in this case, you can see what they say about miniature Schnauzers, as well as read the full breed description. The part of the report that I tend to go look at first is health. And as I suspected, Honey Bear is clear of known issues. It says of the 274 genetic health risks we analyzed, we found one result that you should learn about. And this particular result is related to ALT. What is that? The report says that Honey Bear is unlikely to develop a clinical disease or condition, but these results can be useful to inform decisions for veterinary care or breeding. And ALT activity, she inherited one copy. What does that mean? Honey Bear's baseline ALT level may be low normal. What does that mean? All that means is that a veterinarian, and they would know this anyway just because she's a smaller dog, that if they were ever doing blood work on her, her ALT levels would be low. Just like I happen to naturally have very low blood pressure. It's my nature. It's normal for me to have very low blood pressure. And so therefore, if I ever showed up as having sort of mid-range or high blood pressure, that would be a really big deal. Same sort of thing here for Honey Bear. The report says that Honey Bear is likely to have a lower than average resting ALT activity. So this does not mean that Honey Bear would have any problems or any health issues. And so when we see this, we still say Honey Bear is clear. I also appreciate that Embark clearly states a genetic test is not a diagnosis for a disease. So just because a dog inherits one copy of something does not mean that that dog has or is going to have that health condition. Many issues actually take two copies for it to create a problem. But what you'll see here is that Honey Bear is clear on all of the other things that Embark tests for. So the breed relevant results, she's clear for, and then all other results Honey Bear is clear for. She's not a carrier. She doesn't have any risks health-wise based on what we see in her Embark DNA report. As a dog breeder, I use Embark DNA to help me understand the traits, the colors, what I am likely to get if I pair two dogs to each other. I already knew that Honey Bear had to have two little E's because she does not have a dark hair anywhere on her body. So if we saw a capital E here, that would mean that she would have dark hair. And notice she gets one allele, E, from one parent and one from the other parent. So she inherited two recessive red, is the way we would speak about that, two recessive red genes to make her a recessive red color. On the K locus, Honey Bear is KBKY. And you can see the explanation here of what that means. Honey Bear could have a solid dominant black puppy with that KB. And some people also say that having that KB can intensify the red color in the puppy. This part of the report, the intensity loci, shows us that Honey Bear is what is referred to as intermediate red. These are the red subloci that are measured in an Embark DNA report. And you can see that of the 10 possible reds, Honey Bear has markers. Honey Bear has 7 markers for red. So we would call this a 7 out of 10 red. Here, count along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reds. An Excel spreadsheet specifically on the traits of my dogs, and one of the pages in that is related to the intensity of the red index. Because the red intensity index is so important to me, many of you on my waiting list, for example, want a red Schnauzer, and it helps me to be able to understand what will happen when I breed my dogs to each other. So Honey Bear, her full sister Sienna, and her mother Honey Bee all have 7 out of 10 reds. Her full sister Sierra has 6 out of 10, and Burberry has 6 out of 10. Truffles, Ginger, Tea Time, Mocha, and Sweet Tea's Red Boy. Those of you who know who I'm talking about here, Sweet Tea's Red Boy. This is a photograph of Sweet Tea's Red Boy, and you can see how dark he is. His name is now Marley. All 6 out of 10. Sweet Tea herself, a 5 out of 10. And Reddy, 5 out of 10. Toffee Maui, 5 out of 10. This is a photograph of Sienna and Sierra, both full sisters from Honey Bee's first litter. And I'm pointing this out because she has a 7 index and she has a 6 index on the red loci. This little girl, Honey Bear, that we're talking about is a full sister, meaning they have the same parents, and she has the same red intensity index as her sister. Let's go back to the Embark report for Honey Bear and the specific traits. The A locus, in this case, for Honey Bear, is not expressed because she is recessive red. She has those 2 little e's. If she had a capital E, meaning that she could have or did have dark hair, such as black or chocolate liver color on her body, then this would matter. Next, we see the D locus not expressed. My dogs typically never are expressed, meaning they have 2 capital D's. The cocoa color, no cocoa. Now this next one here is important to me, the B locus. Let's look at that. When a dog has a capital B, that means that their nose and feet will be black colored. Dazzle is an example of a dog that has a capital B and a capital E. So the capital E tells us that she is going to be dark colored, and the capital B tells us that that dark coloring will be black. When a dog has 2 little b's, lowercase b's, they will be chocolate, liver, brown, whatever color you want to call it. My chocolate boy Mocha is an example of a dog with 2 lowercase b's. This is my boy Truffles, and he looks exactly like his daughter Burberry, except Burberry has 2 white feet. This chocolate and red color also has 2 little bees in the Embark section here. Honey Bear is able to produce puppies that have that chocolate color, that liver color, as long as I breed her to a boy who also has a lowercase b. If I bred her to Mocha, for example, Mocha is 2 lowercase b's. He is recessive in this dimension, and so therefore he would have 2 lowercase b's, which would mean that they would have a greater likelihood of having liver or chocolate brown colored puppies. The S locus is also important to me. Honey Bear has 2 capital S's. What does that mean? With 2 capital S's, Honey Bear can only have solid colored puppies. In other words, she can only have dogs that have a base color that is the same. She cannot have a party colored puppy. Party colored dogs have a white base and a color on top of the white base. This is Ginger, and we would call her a red party. So she is primarily white with the red on top of that. This is Huckleberry when she was a puppy. Huckleberry also currently has a litter of puppies where 3 of those puppies are party colored. Huckleberry is an example of a party colored. This would be a black party. And Honeybee is not a party. So Honeybee has 2 capital S's, just like her daughters. Even if I bred her to a party colored dog, a party color has a SPSP, so it's a lowercase SPSP. And what we see is that automatically any puppy of Honey Bear will inherit 1 capital S, which will override the ability to have a party colored puppy. This is so important to me because I use my waiting list to determine who to breed to whom. So if someone is wanting a solid color, meaning a black and silver perhaps, a black phantom, a chocolate and tan puppy. This is Grace. She's an example of a black and silver. She could also be called a phantom. On the left is Liberty, and on the right is a black and silver phantom. His name is Teddy. He is the father of the puppies that Tea Time will be having soon. Ginger Tea Time was bred to Teddy, the boy on the right, who is he would have a capital S. He happens to have 2 capital S's. So again, he cannot have party colored puppies. These are examples of black and silver. And you can see the 2 laying down would be called phantoms. They have more white. The one sitting up, the puppy sitting up behind them, Savannah, is a black and silver, but not a phantom. I know that I can breed Honey Bear to produce that result. So I'm using my waiting list to identify the colors that I need to breed to fulfill the next couple of puppies on my waiting list. This is another example of 2 dogs that would have capital S's. Isabel is laying down, and Wolfie, also known as Pepper, is sitting next to her. Isabel is a black and silver phantom, and Wolfie Pepper is a black and silver, not a phantom. I don't own any puppies that are Merrill. The only dog that I have that has any roaning opportunity in her is Dazzle. So Dazzle does carry a gene for roan. The Harlequin is not something that you see in Schnauzers. None of my dogs have the panda white spotting. Embark reports also show genetic information related to other coat traits like furnishing. My dogs are always heavily furnished. They have a mustache, a beard, eyebrows. They have a long coat which means that it is a coat that will be growing. It is a non-shedding. It says here likely light shedding, but I typically say that Schnauzers don't shed. If you comb or brush them daily, you will not have hair all over your home. Schnauzers can be groomed to show off their curls, as you see here with Honeybee, or this is also Honeybee. They can be groomed to look like the traditional Schnauzer. As you can see from her mom, likely the opportunity to have a curly coat, unlikely to be hairless, and not likely to be albino. In this section on other body features, I rarely pay much attention to these. Muzzle length, tail length, hind dew claws. I have dew claws removed when puppies have their tails docked, but mine are unlikely to have hind dew claws. This next issue here is indicative of leg length, and this says that she will have normal leg length. And this is one that's important to me. I do not want to pass down problems with IVDD or other issues like that. Less likely to have blue eyes and normal muscling. On the body size, I typically will ignore this in Embark's testing because this is not usually correct for me. So this says that her Honey Bear's predicted adult weight is 12 pounds, but I can pretty much guarantee you she will be less than that. She will be somewhere between 7 and 10, 12 at the most. You can see here the information that Embark shares about body size, but again, I tend to ignore that. The next section of the report has to do with performance, altitude adaptation, appetite. The last page of the report shows us Honey Bear's coefficient of inbreeding. And we can see that her coefficient of inbreeding is 22%. The standard, or the average, if you will, for Schnauzers, for miniature Schnauzers, is 26%, and my goal is to always be working to lower the number. So when I choose to breed a male and a female together, I use Embark's tools to make sure that I will be lowering the average rather than increasing the average. And so we succeeded here with this litter of puppies at 22%. Honey Bee and her full sister, Sweet Tea, both show up as 100% miniature Schnauzers in Embark DNA. This puppy, hey pretty girl, is a Sweet Tea puppy who is also 100% miniature Schnauzer. These two are cousins, and we could also say they are half sisters. They have the same father, which makes them half sisters, but their mothers are full sisters. I'm very happy to be able to share this Embark report with you. There was a period of time where I was questioning whether or not a Schnauzer, a 100% miniature Schnauzer that was this red, might be automatically pushed into the Schnoodle category. And what this report has shown us is that, no, that's not the case. We can have a 100% miniature Schnauzer that is very dark red. This little girl, Honey Bear, will be staying in my breeding program. And so sometime in the future, after you've grown up, you'll have puppies that look just like you. If you are interested in more information on Embark DNA tests or testing Schnauzers and Schnoodles, come to my YouTube channel, SVCC Toy Schnauzers. Check out my playlists. See where the arrow is here in the middle of the screen? The button playlists? Click on that. As you scroll down my created playlist, you will discover that I have a playlist called Embark DNA Testing. There are 20 videos. My most recent video before this one on Embark DNA testing is titled Shocking for Me, What is the Future of SVCC Schnauzers? Highly recommend you watch that one as the follow-up to this video, because the little boy in this video would be a half-sibling to Honey Bear. This video will help you understand why I made the comment about, is Embark automatically saying that red-colored Schnauzers are Schnoodles? Well, we've answered our question here.